Welcome back, everyone, to Coffee, Closings, and Chaos. My name is Alyssa Guillermo. I am your host, and I am joined today with one of my favorite people in the industry, Gina with Guardian Angel Inspections. I've known Gina for quite a few years now, and anyone who has worked with me knows Guardian is always one of my favorite inspection companies. If I were to buy a house today, I would be calling you guys most definitely. But I want to welcome you to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on today.
My pleasure. Thank you. And I would like to give you some feedback on Alyssa. She is the most amazing partner. This girl doesn't matter what's going on. She's going to keep you informed. Her communication is amazing. And there is nothing she will not do for a client. So believe me, if you can land this girl as your realtor, you are a lucky, lucky buyer or seller.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's get right into it, huh?
Okay.
All right. So I have a few questions for you, kind of just letting everyone know a little bit more about inspections if they have any questions. It's not just about, you know, hey, is your wall straight or do you have moisture in your home? There's so much more I think that goes into it that and it's so important. It's, the first steps, right, in buying a home. So for buyers who have never gone through an inspection before, what actually happens on inspection day and what should they actually expect emotionally, practically, like the whole 9 yards?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say never skip your inspection because even a few minor issues can add up to the cost of an inspection report. So it's always a great idea. I'm sure you wouldn't go out and buy a used car without test driving it at least. So this is something you should never waive. It can be as little as $300. So I highly recommend doing an inspection. Even before I was with Guardian Angel Inspections, I always did an inspection on my home. So know that an inspection can take approximately 3 hours, sometimes more, sometimes less. It really depends on the home, the square footage, the age of the home. But you want to pay attention to the large ticket items, rather than worry about small repairs. The most common issues found are typically just simply because the homeowner did not maintain appliances and such things. So, understanding how each defect can affect usability of the home matters. Don't be afraid to ask the inspector questions, although you do want to stay out of his way and let him inspect because there is a process. But if you have anything that you're concerned about, maybe you want to bring that up ahead of time. If you're unsure about items that are outlined in the report, you can call us. We actually have somebody dedicated in the office to go over inspection reports because our inspectors are doing 2 to 4 inspections a day. So we don't want you to have to wait 12, 14 hours to speak with your inspector. We have someone in the multi-language in the office as well, should you need a multi-language inspector or somebody in the office.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I can attest to calling you guys at different hours of the day, and it's nice to get somebody on the phone because for some reason nowadays, I feel like sometimes it's harder to get in touch with certain
Oh
people.
my
And
gosh.
the one thing I will say that you guys, I stress so much to buyers is the reason I love you guys is if we do an inspection, say even in the afternoon, by dinner time, you have your report. And time is money, and especially going through inspection periods you might have a 7 or 10 day inspection period, but you want that report back as soon as possible to thoroughly go through it and negotiate if you need to. And I think that's huge because I have been on, the selling side of a transaction and I've had buying agents wait 3 days to get an inspection back. And you're like, okay, well, we need to know what's going on. Like, time's money. Let's go. So it's nice to know, like, if you're looking for an inspection company that delivers literally and delivers on time. You guys do an amazing job. I've had actually my client in down in Broward. We did the inspection and it takes me about an hour and a half to get home. By the time I was home, it was in my inbox. So, it's great. And I think too, and you can probably attest to this, I always tell clients to kind of prep them because I think when they get the report and it's 17 pages, they kind of get, oh my God, and I'm like, no, that's the job though, is to find everything, whether it's minor or like a GFI, hey, you need a GFI in your kitchen. That's not a big deal. All the way to, you got a crack in your pool the size of Texas and your roof's caving in type of thing. So, it's good to have, and you guys do a very thorough job because I think I've done quite a few and at least a dozen with you guys at this point this year, I think. And yeah, it's
Just
always
one over a dozen, actually. So that was a good guess.
okay, cool. I'm gonna have to check my numbers when I get home. So, what are we have a lot of people moving to Florida from out of state, right? It's everyone wants to move to Florida now, and
Number one state,
we
yep, to get moved to from around the country and actually internationally.
yeah,
I just heard that statistic.
I know Miami. I think that I saw something today that like 70 something countries, like people from 70 something countries buy in Miami right now. I'm like, that's
Wow.
insane. That's why it's too
What's more insane is to move to Miami.
I haven't been down to Miami and it's been a while. It's last time I used to work down there and it's definitely like packed.
Yeah, yeah, I was born there.
Me too.
So you
Yeah.
were there. Wow.
Well, Aventura, if you consider
Okay.
that part. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
North Miami. So
Yeah.
yeah, right near you.
Yeah. My dad
Maybe
had a Miami Shores, North Miami Shores. Yeah. I
huh,
think
fun fact.
my mom kept the little baby, the newborn. I guess they give you like a little cert. Yeah,
Oh
my mom
yeah,
still has
that's
it.
right. With the little
Yeah.
lines here.
Yeah, she still has it.
And I still have my blanket.
Do you really? She kept the bonnet or the little head thingy.
Thank you.
So with so many people, I would say migrating to Florida, what is the most common issues you would see in Florida homes that would surprise buyers that are not from here?
Number one is the four-letter M word.
Mold, my favorite.
Yes. Number two, I would probably say termites because you could get your home inspected today and tomorrow you have termites. There are, I believe, three different types of termites, kind of depends on the weather and the area and certain things like that. But know that you are probably going to see termites in or mold if you get a home inspected. Now, know that it's not a big deal. It is something that we find here, with this, you know, amazing weather, you're going to get some negative things. So that's one of them, but can be easily treated. So if you have 10 feet squared of mold, it's considered a minor issue, which is typically what it would be.
Yeah.
And that's a really simple, inexpensive fix. But if you have over that, it would be considered a major issue. But as I said, that's not anything typical. And as far as termites, you can spot treat them or you can tempt the whole house. And that's even not that crazy expensive.
No.
And if you have an amazing realtor like Alyssa, she's going to get that all credited for you.
Yes.
So that's not a problem.
And now I think in the newer construction homes, I would say within the last 5 years, they usually have the little termite
Oh,
boxes
in the ground,
on the ground.
like dug in.
Yeah, and it's a little green top.
Yes.
So that helps as well because we've had termites before in our old home, and it's a pain, but
People,
the house got a
nice
great
people,
cleaning after they left.
right?
Oh my god, yeah. The guy was like, "Oh, you're fine to move back in." I'm like, "I'm cleaning everything."
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you there for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm like, "I don't care if it's safe now. I'm still everything got cleaned." Like, yeah, that was fun, good times.
One other thing I want to point out if you're moving from somewhere else to Florida, we're the only state that requires a wind mitigation and a 4-point insurance inspection. So, with your full comprehensive inspection, you're going to need to add those. And with Guardian Angel, we have those inclusive with your buyer's bundle. So no worries, that's going to automatically come with that for you, along with the termite inspection, which is called a WDO, wood destroying organism. So we don't only look for termites, we look for any organism that's damaging the wood,
Hmm.
whether your house is wood frame or CBS, thank you still have wood in that home. So that is something that you're going to need. And insurance companies here will not give you insurance unless you have those clear. So please prepare yourself for that. They're inexpensive. I want to say under $200 with your inspection, but as I said, they're included. So
Yeah, it's nice because you can go right into their website and literally just almost like you're shopping online and just add to your cart. And if you need to add more things, like I've had clients do like air quality, right? They wanted to check the air quality in the home or the mold test, and it's pretty cool to see it happening. Just add it onto your package, and you guys take care of it. If you're buying a home with a pool, that's a huge thing to get checked because you never know if there's going to be any issues. And I feel like a pool is like a boat. What do they say? Break out another thousand. It's like there's always something when you have a pool. So it's good to always find those things up front. And maybe, if you have a good realtor, you can negotiate some things on your behalf. So
and the pool inspection and irrigation are also included with your inspection with Guardian Angel. Now, if you suspect a pool leak, which would be considered a major issue, kind of like a roof or poly, things like that, you would want to add on the advanced pool, which is where we bring our leakalizer test out and we measure 1/10,000th of an inch of leakage in your pool.
Yeah, I've had a few people add that on, and it's been very helpful.
Yeah, it's very technical.
One found nothing and one found something, but we were able to figure it out, so it helps. And then, so what speaking of, like, major things, like, what I would say things that have popped up on inspection reports that are truly big red flags versus what are some things that look scary on paper to someone who doesn't do this every day that you're like, "Hey, you know what?" Like, for me, I would say it's something little that I think people think it's a big deal is, like, the GFI. "Oh my god, we don't have a GFI." It's like, that's a quick Home Depot run. Like, that's an
Oh, yeah.
easy fix.
Quick, easy.
But I think some of the bigger ones, and I know I've run into this, is obviously in Florida, the roof, especially with insurance nowadays,
100%.
roof. And then this is more of a preference, but making sure your home is protected with storm windows. So either shutters, and then if your hurricane impact windows are true, Miami-Dade rated impact windows, I think those are a huge thing.
So, biggest issues that you would see on your report through us would be the roof. Polybutylene is a type of plumbing material that was used here in Florida from 1978 to when it was banned in 1995. Now, the insurance companies told the contractors they could use what they had, once they banned it. So you might find some homes up to 98 with it. Our office, just because, we've been around over 10 years and we've done 26,000 inspections, we know most of the areas that have had the builders that use the poly. So we can always look something like that up prior to you buying the inspection report. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And so that is something that is a major issue because that's going to be anywhere from 12,000 and up. Still can be negotiated. Everything can be
Everything.
fixed. You just have to have that awesome, crazy realtor that's going to get it done for you before you buy the home. So keep that in mind. Any plumbing leaks, knob and tube that we'll find in older homes, those are all major issues.
Yeah, definitely. And then from your perspective and what you've seen, how can buyers and sellers prepare a home for an inspection and to keep deals smooth and stress level? So, like, if let's say you have a seller who's getting ready to list their home, what is some things that they can do to prep besides the obvious? Obviously, like, list your home and everything, but once you go under contract, what are some things that they could do maybe to get the house ready for inspection?
Well, what I suggest even before putting your house on the market would be to do a pre-listing inspection.
Are
And
you finding those to be common now?
they are right now because of the market we're in, they're very popular. So, they kind of roll with the market, but they are always a good idea because they make that transaction smoother. It gives the seller and the seller's agent time to fix what they want to fix, close, credit, whatever they want to do so that they're not up against the gun with that buyer in a 5 or 7 day inspection period, hiring just anyone. You don't know their reputation, and they're most likely charging you way too much money, and you have no choice. So, for a few $100s, and I'm talking as little as $325, you can do a pre listing inspection. And that is the full comprehensive inspection, top to bottom, all around the entire home. And that gives you a list of what you need to fix, disclose, or credit. And then you're not, up against a gun doing those things. And, you're prepared. Also, our pre listings now come with all the permits to the property.
Oh, excellent.
So there's going to be no surprises. That house is going to be wrapped up with a pretty red bow. So
Ready
that
to
is
hand
what,
off keys to the next buyer.
right. That is what I suggest.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't done a pre-listing. I haven't had anyone do a pre-listing inspection, but it's something that I've always said, I suggest if they would like to. But I would say most homeowners, you kind of have an idea of what's going on with your home. Like, if I were to sell my house today and my house is just a few years old, I could tell you, hey, this is what's going on with it because you need to keep up with the home. Then I'll
I'm out. That is the biggest
Yeah.
thing that we find in inspections is people not maintaining their home. Just as simple as cleaning your air filter.
Okay, so I have a thing. The air vent, when I go do listing appointments, that's the first thing I look at because I've been doing this long enough to have been with enough buyers. The first thing that I have noticed that they do when they walk in a room is they look up. And perception, right, is reality. So if a buyer walks in and sees your air vent is like has an inch of dust on each side, what's they're gonna think?
No
Hey, this house
maintenance.
isn't clean. They're not doing maintenance on anything. And that's always what I tell, when I'm at listing appointments, they'll ask, oh, shoot, what do we need to do to the home? And I always say, Don't dump a ton of money in unless it's 100% necessary. Most of the time it's not. But little things, cleaning your air vents, giving your house a good cleaning, like making sure it's look, smell. You have to touch all the senses when you're selling a home. You don't need to bake cookies for each showing. I had someone asked me, I'm like, no, you're good. You don't need to bake cookies. If you want, get a candle. I do think it's huge to maintain your home. And I'm not perfect. I try to send quarterly out an email to like my database to say, like, hey, in Florida, because I have a lot of people in my database from out of state, or there were from out of state to say, hey, this is what you can do in the next couple months to just maintain your home, especially when you live on the water, because people don't realize when we lived on the water, my car, we had to wash it like twice as much. We cleaned the windows twice as much because of the salt. People don't realize that either. Can kind of not destroy your home, but if you don't
Oh,
maintain it, it can destroy your home.
yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
they don't real people don't realize it. It's a very interesting mineral, if you will.
It's kind of one of those things where people in Florida should never buy a car from up north
Yeah.
because of the salt on the road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
something like
so
that.
it's so true. And then, so if you can give buyers one piece of advice that could save them a lot of money, right? Or major headaches after closing, what would it be? Obviously, besides hiring an amazing inspection company with an awesome realtor. Shameless plug.
I would definitely just like what we were just talking about, maintain your home, make sure you're carrying the proper insurance and be safe.
And then I do have another question because this is something do as I say, not as I do. New construction. Up by me, there's a lot of new construction going on. I've had a lot of people ask, hey, I'm buying a new construction. Do I need an inspection? I myself didn't do one because we were doing so much work to the house after we didn't do it. Should I? Maybe, but that's another story. But what do you see on your end with new construction? Because I feel like new construction is not perfect, and I think that's no house is perfect, and I think it's the perception of, oh, it's a new house, everything's amazing, but you know,
And I think there was a time when that was almost 100% true,
yeah,
honestly. But as time has gone on and you know where the world is went and things like that, homes need to be inspected, new construction, because these builders don't know the job that their contractors are doing. They can't watch them 24/7. Supervisors can't watch their workers 24/7. I mean, it's just this whole where everything's gotten so busy
hmm
that things fall through the cracks, period. I'm not putting any blame on anyone, but I can tell you that we do a lot of new construction inspection. We actually have 3 phases, and if you're gonna do any of them, I think the most important one is the 11-month
yes,
because that inspection is done right before your warranty is up with the builder. And we get a punch list together that you can give the builder, and they will have to come clean on all those items, no matter how many there are, no matter how much it is. And this way, you've been living in that home for a year and you've pretty much found most of it. What you haven't find, we're going to go in and believe me, we're going to find way more $325 new
yes,
construction inspection, depending on square footage.
yes,
Don't quote me,
yes,
but that's what they start at. But and I definitely, definitely highly recommend new construction inspections.
yeah. That's
You
like I
got to.
Yeah, I have a few clients this past year who have purchased new construction, and right before they close, I always send them my list of inspection companies saying, "Hey, if you don't wanna do it pre-closing, totally, or, like, right at closing, I get it, but I highly, highly recommend the 11 months just because of that." Houses have to settle, like, for instance, our house, we have a big window, like, just a big picture window in our kitchen, and 2 months into living in the house, there was a huge crack from the window. We're guessing it was a stress crack from the
Settlement.
settlement,
Yeah.
and obviously, like at the 11th month, we had a whole list of things my husband and I noticed, and we're like, hey, because he had gone all up in the attic and he was in every nook and cranny of the house. So we had a nice list for them and said, hey, this is what we need fixed. And it doesn't get fixed in a day, right? But we got everything resolved that we needed to. But it's huge, and people underestimate, oh, it's a new house, we don't need an inspection, or oh, it's a new house, we're fine. But I've seen brand new houses I have a friend who had a leak in her roof a month after she moved in, and she's still having issues. But luckily, they were caught before the 11 months. So therefore, everything was warranted, or else that would have,
Been
yeah,
expensive.
really expensive. Yeah.
Expensive.
Yeah. So, and then just to wrap up, can you tell us a little bit about guardian angels and what makes you guys so special?
I would love to. So, guardian angel, this little blonde boy here, is the entire reason that we exist. Our owners, Ricky and Jessica, they're a young couple and they went through a tragedy in 2014 where they lost their 2-year-old. And with something tragic, hopefully always comes something wonderful. Guardian Angel was born, and our entire mission is bringing drowning awareness. So when Alyssa, you refer us to your clients, you are organically giving back to the community. Every inspection that we do, if the buyer is buying a home with a pool without a safety fence, they automatically go into a drawing, and quarterly we draw a family and we pay for a safety fence to be put around the pool. We also give back to the Live Like Jake, which is a drowning awareness foundation. We support their 5K, their gala every year, and their swimming lessons and all kinds of things. So know that when you hire Guardian Angel, it is a bigger cause for drowning awareness. So we are going to deliver the best inspection in Nick's name, and you're going to get this amazing process beginning, throughout, and after your inspection. You are in the best hands.
And I think that's something to add too with moving to Florida with pools. I've had quite a few people say, "Oh, we have a kid or we have a grandkid, you know, they don't know how to swim," or and I think that's a huge thing that's underestimated. Even if you don't have a pool in Florida, I don't know what the percentage is of people who own pools, but you go to parties, you go to, kids go to their friend's house, like you don't need to be a Michael Phelps Olympic swimmer, but you need to know how to flow, get yourself out and not, you need to protect yourself. And I think that's a huge thing. Buyers and sellers or anyone coming to Florida, even visiting, needs to realize that we're we're a wet state, and tragedy can happen even in your own backyard if you're not paying attention. And coming from, I don't have kids, but I have little nephews and nieces who, they're like little speed racers, and they go off so quick it can happen,
16
instantaneously.
seconds.
Yeah.
And it is the leading cause of death for children in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, my husband's a firefighter down here, so he has awful stories of things that they've run on, and it's all the same. Like, moral of the story is learn how to swim at at
100%.
any
That is
age.
number one.
At any
6
age.
months swimming lessons that we support. They Live Like Jake teaches an infant how to fall in a body of water, flip on their back and float and cry until somebody rescues them.
Yeah.
I have
That's
goosebumps every time I
no,
talk
that's
about it.
it's so true though, because my dad jokes, he's obviously not 6 months, but sometimes he acts I'm kidding. He says my dad doesn't know how to swim, as in like he's not gonna, do laps in a pool. But I'm like, Dad, but you can get out if you God forbid fell somewhere, like you can get yourself out. So even if you're an adult and you don't know how to swim, no shame, just learn, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like go take lessons or go enjoy it. Cause one of the beauties of Florida, the ocean and all this stuff. And not to get too much into swimming, but even in the ocean, learning how to read rip currents and what to do if you get caught in a rip current, because there's been a few tragedies with that as well. Like it's so important.
And even if you can swim,
Yeah,
I mean, that's it.
yeah,
Right.
definitely. I thank you, Gina, for coming on, and we'll have to do this again. And I can't wait for our advanced social media class with I think it's next month, this month,
End of this month.
the end of
There's
this month.
one. That's our first one. I
Yeah.
think the 27th.
And I love how you guys do so much in the community as well. I think it's huge. I'm big into that, and I think giving back and kind of helping is a
That's what makes
huge
great
factor.
partners.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in a sense, we're all small businesses, right? So it's always supporting each other and making sure everyone's safe and has a healthy home, and
You buy the right home.
yes,
It's your biggest investment.
yep. I always say you'll know when you walk in, and if you love the house, everything is, this is not proper grammar, but everything's figure outable and fixable. So everything can be fixed, and there's always a way to do it. It's just, making sure it's the right one for you. And listen, I've had buyers, very few, but I've had buyers go through quite a few contracts and inspections with you guys, especially until they found the right home. And it's because sometimes of the inspections that raise red flags where they're like, okay, or buyers feel one thing is important and the seller's like, I don't care, take it or leave it. And, you all have to mesh. It's kind of like finding the right spouse. You have to, when right?
Right,
God
right.
willing. And going from there. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And then where can everyone find you? And obviously go to guardianangelinspections.com,
Yep.
and you can find Gina on social media. I will link everything down there. And then I'll also add the live like Jake.
Mhm.
I'll add that. So if you want to look in more into that and support that awesome cause, that'd be awesome too. So have a great day. Let's do a little cheers. I would say a cocktail, but it's a little too early on a Friday. Have an awesome day. And thanks so much for tuning in. Like, comment, share, and we'll see you next time.